guys, welcome to tonight's presentation. We're going to be going over how to get your contractor's license. My name is Miriam Curiel. I'm the general manager here, and I'm joined by...
My name's Andrew. I'm actually one of the instructors here at Contractors Intelligence School.
Yes, so we have a great guest tonight. Essentially, what we're going to be covering is the requirements, the overall application process, which is the most crucial process in order for you to be able to qualify to take the exam for licensing. We're going to cover prepping for the exam, scheduling the exam, and even passing the exam, and then the final steps to be able to activate the license. Now, with that said, let's talk about the overall California license. The law in California states that you do need to have a contractor's license if you're going to be doing work that's $500 or more, and that's including labor and materials. Now, to be able to qualify, you need to be 18 years old or older, but we here recommend you're at least 23 years old simply because you start accumulating full-time experience at 18. Therefore, 23 would be the recommended age. 4 years of experience of journeyman level is required, and journeyman level is essentially a fancy way of saying what, Andrew?
Experience that you have performed unsupervised. Nobody's standing over your shoulder saying, no there, Timmy, you got to do X, Y, and Z correctly. Now, you know how to perform the work without any supervision. That is typically considered journeyman level. Of course, there are other avenues to elevate your experience to journeyman level. We'll mention that a little bit later. So take it away. Continue on with that with those requirements.
Yeah, definitely. You also need to have a social security number or an ITIN. For those of you at home that thought you only could apply with the social security number, great news is you can apply with your ITIN, the individual taxpayer identification number.
Yes.
Exactly. A common misconception. There are also other ways to apply that are somewhat rare. If you are applying for a general building license, you can use owner-builder experience. This is essentially saying that you, as the owner, built your home, extensively remodeled it, or even built an ADU. But you must own the home, meaning that your name is on the deed of the home. You must have the knowledge and skill to do the actual hands-on experience you're claiming you did. And then the most important thing, Andrew?
If you're hiring subcontractors to do the work or licensed contractors, look, you have to make sure that any work they've performed, you can't count, or it doesn't count towards your experience. So you have to have the knowledge, the skills to perform all this work. You have to have permits.
Exactly.
And those permits better be in your name.
Yes.
Don't forget that part.
If they're in your contractor's name, guess what the state's going to say? Sorry, not sorry. Bye. See you later. Exactly.
Not your experience.
Exactly. You can also use self-employed experience. And I know that this is a common misconception. You can definitely use the experience that you gained while working under the table without a license. The state will require documentation, though, in order to accept this, right?
Perfect. Documentation, that's the important one. You
exactly.
got it. Actually, why don't you show them what kind of documents the state looks for, after you submit your application, and they're like, okay, we believe you, but not really. Can you prove it?
Exactly. And we're going to go over that. So tax documentation such as W-2s, 1099s. Am I missing anything?
1099s primarily if you're self-employed. Yeah, sounds about right.
Exactly. Any type of tax documentation that essentially shows 4 years worth of that experience. You can show permits or inspections. You can show contracts, material or work orders or invoices, material receipts such as Home Depot receipts. That's
or Lowe's, although, preference.
Yes, exactly. We're not biased here. You could even show canceled checks towards those 4 years. Now, we've mentioned the application, and we always stress that it's the most crucial portion, and we make it sound so intimidating.
Believe it or not, I mean, I know I'm an instructor here, I teach the courses and so on, but so many students complete their studying first, and they don't submit their application. It really slows down the process.
Yes.
Prioritize the application first.
Exactly.
Please.
And again, we make it sound really intimidating, but it really doesn't have to be. we do have a dedicated department, meaning it's a department that does applications all day long. You can call them, you can contact them via email for any questions, any concerns that you have. And they've essentially got this down to a science.
You can walk in, can't you?
You absolutely can walk in, yes. And they're more than happy to see your face and assist you with the application. And like I said, they have this down to a science. Essentially, the state will take 4 to 6 weeks to be able to approve your applications once it's submitted. But again, you do have to fill it out. You have to complete it appropriately in order for them to approve it. And with that department that we have here at Contractors Intelligence School has a 4-step process. First being, you're gonna fill out the application, right? Most crucial portion. Fill it out, put your name on it, do what you gotta do. Do it to the best of your ability. You're then going to submit it so that we can review and correct it. You can submit it, if you're a student with us, you can do it via your mobile app, email, or even fax it in if that's your preferred method.
Mobile app's actually pretty popular.
Exactly.
You know what students do? They take pictures of their application, like the hard copy, and then there's a button for upload. Just send the pictures. It's securely encrypted, sent directly to the applications department. You get a response within 24 hours or sooner. It's really nice.
Correct. And once you've done so, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna make any needed corrections that we list on there for you. And it's gonna be as easy as telling you exactly what you have to fix. It's not gonna be ambiguous. It's not gonna be a super difficult process. We're literally gonna tell you what to adjust on there, right?
And even if you don't know, just give us a call.
Exactly.
I mean, call them, come in person, do what you gotta do, but get that application, and nothing moves forward without the application.
Yes. And once you've submitted it, we've reviewed it, and you've made all the corrections necessary, we're going to tell you that it's been finalized. There's no more corrections to be done. And at that point, what are we going to send them out?
Oh, we're going to give them an email, or we're going to tell them, look, it's ready. You have to do the following. Stick it in the mail. Yep, CSLB wants original signatures and pen. You got to include the application fee of $450 if this is the original application, and then you're just playing the waiting game. But you know, there's a couple things people look at when they open the application and get overwhelmed. Even with our help, there's a lot of pitfalls that can occur during the application process.
Absolutely.
I think you should mention that a little bit. Let's
Absolutely.
go a little bit deeper.
Yeah, and the first line of the application is, what is your business name? And that seems to stump a lot of people because, again, it's not like you've already built a business, right? You don't have an existing business, or maybe you do, to move forward. And if you do, it's as simple as using the name you currently have. But in order for the state to accept the business name, it needs to meet one very specific criteria, and that's that it needs to match the trade you're going for. So let's provide an example, Andrew. You're applying for a license.
Oh, me? I'm applying for the license?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, no problem. So let's say my experience is electrical. I have a vast electrical experience, and I want to get my C10 electrical contractor's license. And if I take the application and I say, Andrew's Construction Services, because you know, electrical falls under services, does it not? Would that be good?
You know, it wouldn't, because the construction is going to stump them. Construction is reserved for general building, and that's a completely different trade.
It's misleading.
Exactly. It's misleading. So you need your clients to specifically know what you're going to be licensed to do. And the appropriate name would have to be Andrew Electrical, or something to do with electrical, so that your public knows specifically what you're licensed to do. It's as simple as that, guys. Now, there is another common pitfall, and that's that form. That's very intimidating to most people, because you're gonna need...
You mean how you show your application?
Exact
not application, sorry, your experience. There we go.
Yes, your experience, because the state, guess what? It's not gonna take your word for it.
So I got all this electrical experience, but how do I show the state?
Yes.
That's actually the #1 question our application department gets is, well, how do I prove this to them, or how do I show them this experience? And the simple answer is, it's on the application. There's a specific page, as Miriam was talking about, called the Certification of Work Experience. Take it away. Tell them.
Exactly. And on this form, you're going to tell the state what company you worked for those 4 years to gain this experience. how long you worked there, if it was full-time, if it was part-time. You're gonna have your certifier, which is the person that's signing for you, because you need somebody to vouch for your experience. Again, they will not take your word for it. You do need somebody to certify under penalty of perjury that you are telling the truth regarding your experience.
You can't sign off your own experience. That's very important.
Exactly.
You can't sign off your own experience. So many people think, yeah, okay, I'm the boss. No, sorry, boss, you can't.
Even the boss needs somebody under them to sign off.
Correct.
Exactly. So your certifier is essentially gonna do that. They're gonna fill out a portion of this form. They're gonna provide the state with information, again, whether it was part-time, full-time, the time frames that you worked, a description of your experience. So if it's electrical, they're gonna provide the duties, hands-on duties that were involved with your electrical work. And then again, you're gonna need somebody to sign off. And that's that bottom portion of options that you see here. You can have an employer sign off, but sometimes we hear people say, my employer will literally fire me because they don't want me to be their competition. Why are they gonna help me get the license? So moving forward with that, we can have other people sign off. A contractor, so somebody that's licensed in the state of California or even another state if you gained your experience from another state. You can have a foreman or supervisor sign off, so anybody that directly supervised your experience within that company. You can have a journeyman, so somebody that is certified, such as somebody that completed an apprenticeship, can sign off for this. You can have a fellow employee, a coworker at any level of the company where you worked. A union representative, and if you work for a union, you should know who your representative is, and you can ask them to sign this off. For those of you at home that are self-employed, you can also have a business associate, because you might be thinking, none of these apply to me, I don't work with others. But you can also have a business associate like an inspector, who you're bound to have encountered, right? Or even a professional engineer sign off for this. Now, there are some very common questions regarding foreign education and foreign experience.
Or education in general, and foreign
Exactly.
experience. Because
Exactly.
sometimes you can, you bring experience outside the country, and the state says, great, make sure you can prove it.
Yes, and with that,
Let's talk with education first, right?
yes.
Let's start there.
So how many years can a substitute maximum?
Ooh, okay. So if you're careful and you're reading the information up here, it says up to 3 years toward your 4-year experience requirement. So how do we get those 3 years? That's what everybody thinks. If I have a degree, it's automatically 3 years. Unfortunately, the state takes all education on a case-by-case basis, because when you submit your application, you have to provide sealed transcripts.
Exactly.
I'll just give them a common case, because if you have a business degree, whether it's a bachelor's in business, it doesn't matter which specialty, but business in general, or a master's in business, PhD, what have you, that gets you 2 years, 24 months, typically 2 years toward the 4-year requirement. But if you have education like a bachelor's of arts or some science, not business related, typically that's a little bit less than 24 months. We can't, by the way, we can't tell you how much you're going to get exactly. We can just tell you what the state says. And so a business bachelor's, a bachelor's in business or a master's in business, 2 years, most likely. But I'm reserving that whole 3-year mark. So Miriam, why don't you tell them?
Definitely.
How do they get 3 years toward that 4-year experience requirement?
Absolutely. So guys, if you're interested in applying for a general building license and you have a bachelor's or a master's in construction management, that will typically get you the full 3 years that they're willing to provide towards the experience. So again, only if it's a general building and you have a degree in construction management.
By the way, I did see before that if you are like an engineer and you have civil engineering or what have you, and you apply for the engineering A classification, that can be up to 3 years. Remember how I said they look at it on a case-by-case basis? So it really depends on the coursework, what you've done. That's why the transcripts are important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, sealed official transcript, guys. It's not going to be the unofficial ones. Those don't count. Now you can also, as we said, use foreign education for this. Again, it's a common misconception. People think my foreign education doesn't count in the US, but it does, as long as it's been accredited, so we know what the equivalency is in the US.
Keywords, equivalency,
Exactly.
accredited, super
Yes.
keywords. You got to follow that.
Exactly. And it also needs to be translated if it's in any other language other than English. Now, you can also use foreign experience. And again, it comes with two stipulations. The business needs to be open to the date that you're applying.
In existence. It has to be open and in
Correct.
existence currently.
Correct. And the owner of the company needs to be willing to sign off for this. It's going to be a signature with a stamp.
What if I'm the owner of the company? It's my company. I still have it open in Europe or Asia or Africa or Antarctica or something.
That's a great question, and it's actually a very common question. It will not count because again, you can't certify your own experience.
Yeah,
The state
remember
does
that? You
not
can't
allow
sign
that.
off your own experience? You're right,
Yes,
absolutely. So if it's
exactly.
your business, sorry boss, you're going to need another certifier to sign off your experience. So someone with qualifications, what I've seen work in the past, these are rare occurrences, but what I've seen work in the past is somebody who has or they currently have a business and so on open in a different country, but they have like a engineer or someone who's in higher up with qualifications certified their experience. That works because they have authority or they have that background behind them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the key word, authority, right? Now, with that said, why not have you talk about the preparation of the exam? You do this all day.
Very good. So when you apply, you submit your application, you have to prepare for two exams. The Law and Business exam. The Law and Business exam is really just testing your knowledge if you know how to run a business, if you know how to communicate with the customers, if you know how to hire employees or subs and so on. It's the business part. It's called the Law and Business exam, but most people, they shorten it to the Law exam. All right, there's also a trade exam involved, and that's either your specialty. So in my previous example, I was electrical, that's a C10 specialty trade exam. Could be a general building, could be engineering, could be plumbing, roofing, etc. There are over 42 classifications that exist in California. But you got to pass the exams. And here at the school, we do have a recommendation, minimum 30 minutes a day. Study and prepare for the test. But it's not just there. You got to become a student. And Miriam, please tell the people what courses we offer so they can become students and then get them on the right track.
Definitely. We have a wide variety of courses depending on how you prefer to study. First one being the traditional home study. And this, guys, is going to be more of your cup of tea if you prefer to have physical manuals. So like a physical book in your hand where you can highlight, notate, or even keep for further reference once you're out there in the field, working up contracts, trying to submit bids, things like that. It also comes with CDs and DVDs if for some reason you still have a device that plays CDs and DVDs.
Usually the truck, let's be honest.
Exactly. If you have an older dated vehicle, absolutely. It comes with 90 days worth of practice exams so that you can simulate what the actual state exam is going to look like and test your knowledge. It comes with the law and trade practice exam so you're able to simulate both exams that you're going to be tested for. It comes with application assistance because, again, we've scared you enough to know that it's incredibly crucial to submit the application to move forward with anything. And it also comes with instructor support.
Let's go.
So if you want to call up Andrew or our other instructor, Fernando, and ask them questions because you're stumped on something that's included in the material, go for it. They're there to assist you. And again, it also comes with our 100% pass exam money back guarantee because 98% of our students pass on the first try. It's not a marketing gimmick, guys. It's literally a statistic from our previous students that have passed. And that essentially means if you don't pass on the first try, you can just say, hey, Miriam, I want a refund. It didn't work for me, and that's okay too. Now, the other course pictured on here is our full online course, and that is our most popular course. We're the only school in the entire state of California that has formulated this type of concept, meaning that you can literally take the material anywhere that you want to go. If you're at a job site and you have a 30-minute break, guess what? You have 30 minutes to study. If you're driving to work, let's say you have a commute, you can play the audios or even listen to the videos if you really want to. That's totally what the majority of our students do. You could even look at the additional resources, or again, do the practice exams, the reading material.
Or just ask me, and then I'll tell you how to go through the process a little bit more effectively, more efficiently.
Exactly, you beat me to
We're
the punch.
interested in your success.
Yes, call up our instructor. And then application review is absolutely included with this because, again, so crucial to this step, guys. 100% pass exam money back guarantee because it's an overall statistic for us. And the next course that you guys see listed here is essentially everything that we pack into our full online course, but with a twist. It comes with our classes. And I'm gonna have Andrew, who actually teaches the classes, talk to you guys about them.
All right, I'm not gonna be teaching you a class, but I will tell you a little bit about them. There's really two primary ways to do the class. Either in person, we call that the traditional in-class. You got to spend some time maybe in the car getting over here. But when you do get here, you're amongst like-minded people who are ready to prepare for and pass the state test. So no distractions, really cool. But it doesn't have to be that way. If you don't want the in-person where you got that open forum, you can talk and communicate and so on, you can also do the live stream. And you can stream the classes from home, the comfort of your home, whether it's on a computer, that's typically what we recommend. You can do it from your phone if that's something you want to do. I'd recommend a really good, solid internet connection for that. But it's not just that. It's not just the option of in-person or streaming. Let's take it a step further. Evening classes. When you become a student here and you're enrolled for the in-class option, we try to schedule you immediately for the evening classes, 4 sessions typically, more bite-sized chunks, if you will, to really get you through that course material, get you on the right track. Look, we don't want to necessarily hold your hand the whole time, but we are pretty much doing that. Let's be honest. We're going to make sure you pass. After you've completed the evening courses, you got your application submitted, it's time to schedule your test, and let's say it is scheduled. There are also weekend classes. These are more compressed crash course style to review the information, give it that final stamp of approval, so you're ready to pass, and you become another success story in our books. Let's go. But all right, let's schedule the test. Hold on. Let's take it back. Not back there, but application was submitted. Let's follow that process. We waited for the state to respond. It was like, what, 4 to 6 weeks or so. Then the state gave us approval to schedule your exam. The state, CSLB, Contractor State License Board, doesn't schedule. They tell you to schedule your tests. So you're going to have to call PSI or go on their website. Instructions are provided. And you pick your own dates. For the law exam, you pick your own date for the trade exam. So, as you're kind of reviewing the information, the law and trade exams can be scheduled separately, probably should, but if there's availability, you can actually find time slots on the same day. Some people do that. Some people schedule them on different days, different weeks even. It's all a possibility. Options are limitless, right? Now, if you need a translator, let's say English is not your first language, you mark a little box on the application saying, yes, I'm going to need a translator. Then you write in the language that your translator is going to be in or you want. And the state will send you a document saying, hey, we don't provide you a translator. You're going to have to find your own. We're just going to have to approve them. So we're going to put some limits. Your translator can't be a contractor. Your translator can't be Andrew. Your translator can't be someone in real estate or a lawyer. So they put a few limitations, but a professional translator works, like a family member even. They don't have to necessarily specialize in construction. It'd be a plus for sure, but the state just wants to make sure you're not cheating. If approved, great. You get to schedule your exam with a translator and bring them with you. Now, if you need other accommodations, believe it or not, you want to make that or those arrangements well in advance with the CSLB, and then schedule. The next step in the process is going to be to pass the exams. Oh boy, it's not going to be hard. You're going to make it, I promise. When it's test time, you get there a little bit early, get there 15, 30 minutes early. That's what we recommend. You're going to have to bring a valid photo ID, so if it's expired, they send you home. Your driver's license. If you're watching this, you're hearing this, just pull it out right now. See, I actually do this exercise in my class a lot. I say, hey, pull out your driver's license, look at the expiration date. If it says 2024, 2023, you're going to be sent home. That's an automatic failure, believe it or not, Miriam. Everything is provided for the test. So it's a closed book examination. Don't bring anything with you except yourself, your photo ID. You get checked in, take the exam. They give you a computer, everything needed. The exam itself is about 120 questions for the law and business. You're given 3.5 hours, which is 210 minutes. There's a timer going down. Most people finish sooner. You know that the trade exam is also the same thing? Yeah. It's 120 questions, 3.5 hours, multiple choice, A, B, C, D. You don't have to bring a hammer with you. You don't have to bring any tools. Okay, leave those at home. The best part, when you end the test, and then you walk out of the test center, you're like trotting out. They're like, hey, sir, madam, hold on. They give you something. What is it? What do they give? Tell the folks at home what they give you.
They give you a paper that tells you whether you passed or failed. So you don't have to wait in the mail. You don't have to have that anxiety of, did I pass? Did I not? They'll tell you right then and there, which is amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Man. And you know what? Even if you passed, you still don't have your license number. Bummer.
I know.
What? Yeah, there's still final steps. There's a couple steps that need to be completed, and then, and only then, the CSLB, the Contractor State License Board, issues your license number. Tell the folks at home what those steps include.
Absolutely. So once you complete these steps, you're going to have a license similar to what appears on the screen, right? But first, you have to pay your initial licensing fee because the state needs their chunk of cheese as well. It covers the first 2 years of your licensing. You also need to complete your live scan. You have to do your fingerprinting. The state wants to make sure you're not a career criminal or, are going to commit some type of fraudulent activity, since you will be working with the public and accessing private property. Just fairly common sense, right? You do need to set up a contractor's bond. And you can do this by calling our friends at Pro Builders at the number that's pictured above.
800-823-6415 in case you can't read that clearly.
Exactly, yes. You can also call them to set up your workers' comp because they're a one-stop shop. They will assist you with anything that you need for insurance. You can also ask them if you qualify for an exemption. Now, with that said, you will also have to submit an asbestos open book exam.
Another test?
Yes.
Come on, I just told them how to pass the test.
Tell the people about it.
Okay, well, the asbestos open book exam, it's more of a formality. It's a required formality. It's a requirement. So you're going to be told, go online, the CSLB website. You're going to read a wall of information, and you'll be tested. You'll be given 20 questions. It more asks or tests you on what is asbestos, who is qualified to remove it, certifications, licensure, and what the dangers are. That way, when you complete this and then finally get your license later on, in the future, when you're doing a job and you come across asbestos, you can no longer claim ignorance. You can't say, oh, I didn't know. CSLB will say, yes, you did. You've completed this test. You told us. You gave us all these correct answers. And by the way, the system, when you're doing the test, you can take as long as you want, and it doesn't let you move forward unless all the answers are correct.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the open book asbestos exam. You get that in. Oh, you get all these items in, as Miriam was mentioning. And then what happens next?
You still don't have a license. I know. because everything at the state level is a waiting game, and we have to still wait for the license to be issued. It's going to be issued on their online portal, so you'll be able to see exactly when you get a license number, and then you're going to get a license, just like the one that's pictured on the screen. That's going to be mailed directly to you. So
It's going to have your name. It won't say John Doe, I promise.
Exactly. And it won't show all these classifications because you've only tested for one. But yes, you will get this as proof that you do have your contractor's license. And again, it's a waiting game. And with that, that is every single step that you need to meet in order to get your license. I hope we made it so easy to follow. But if you do have any questions, you can go ahead and put them on the chat below, or you can go ahead and email us at support@contractorsiSchool.com, because we're here to help you. But
we're more interested in your success.
Exactly.
Yes, we're going to help, but you're going to be successful. We're successful.
Yes.
That's the end of it.
And since it was so comprehensive and there's no chat messages, because we're awesome and we explained everything, we're going to say goodnight, guys, and we hope you join us for the next one, or even refer us to a friend if they have questions about getting a contractor's license. But you guys have a great one. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.